Hi friends, it's Gwen. Welcome back to my channel. Today I am starting my Flowerathon reading vlog for you. My friend Rachel from Happy Go Lovely Sleeves is hosting a 72-hour readathon dedicated to books that have flowers on the cover. I think this is perfect for spring, perfect to celebrate her birthday, and I have 4 books still left of my original 5 books that I talked about in my TBR video. If you missed that, I did have one additional book, but I have since finished that book. Absolutely loved it, but I'm gonna go ahead and show you the 4 books that I still have that have flowers on the cover that I want to read this month. The first being Lunar Love. This is a romance story. It talks a lot about Chinese zodiacs and animal attraction, and I think it's like a hate to love. I'm not really entirely sure, but I got this back in February from Book of the Month, and I have been wanting to read it ever since then. And it has these gorgeous flowers on the bottom, as well as in this blue on the background and stuff like that. So looking forward to this one. And then I also had the Book of the Month copy of the London Seance Society by 𝒍𝒊𝒏𝒌𝒔, and I had to go out and get the Barnes & Noble exclusive edition of this book because it is stunning. It is like this gold shiny foil cover, and let me just take off the dust jacket and show you what the book looks like. It's absolutely stunning. I had to have it. And then the end papers, oh, gorgeous. So yeah, I think I might actually start with this one. I hope I love it. I've never read anything by 𝒍𝒊𝒏𝒌𝒔 before, but she did write The Lost Apothecary, and I know a lot of people loved that one. So maybe if I like this one, I will go back and try to check out a copy of The Lost Apothecary. But this is about a seance. That's all I really know. That's all I really want to know. But it's shrouded parlors of Victorian London. 2 daring women hunt for the truth and justice in the perilous art of conjuring the dead. 2 more. So the first one is The Soulmate by Sally Hepworth. This will be my second Sally Hepworth. This is her newest novel. This one came out in March, and the cover is so beautiful. It's a thrilling, addictive novel about marriage, betrayal, and the secrets that push us to the edge. And I've only read one other book by this author. Like I said, I read it last month, and I'm just really excited to explore more of this author's work. And I think this is like the most thrilling of her books, or at least that's what I've heard. I kind of want to start with that one too, because I could really go for a thriller right now. And then I have Georgie All Along, and this one is a heartfelt tale about a woman's quest to reinvent herself. And it's supposed to be poignant, witty, a reflection on how the hopes, dreams, and stories of our past shape our future. And it does have little flowers. So my actual goal is to read all 4 of these books this month, but I've kind of been distracted this month, if we're being honest. I've only finished 1 book, and I think it's just I'm preoccupied in getting my house ready because I'm going to be hosting 4 of my besties this coming week, like next week. And I just have to basically clean my house from top to bottom, get the room situated, get the bedding situated, get the food situated, you know, kind of everything. I'm hosting 4 people at my house for like a week. So yeah. That's why my blue couch is out here that's usually in my back bedroom. Yeah, so it's kind of crazy over here. I don't know how much I will actually read during the readathon or anything, but I'm going to take you along with me. We're going to experience this whole 72 hours together. I guess I need to decide what I want to start. The Soulmate and the London Seance Society. I might just do a poll on my Instagram stories while I make breakfast, and then let the people decide which one I should start with, and then go from there. ate my breakfast, I checked the poll, and the Soulmate by Sally Hepworth won the poll by quite a bit. I read the first 3 chapters and they were in Pippa's point of view, which is the wife. So they live in this like coastal town by the seaside, and there is this cliff that's like on their property that's pretty famous. Yeah, a cliffside home in Portsea, a sleepy coastal town a couple hours outside of Melbourne. And so when they bought the house, you know, the wife was nervous about it, especially because they have young children. And the husband, Gabe, was like, you know, we'll just put up a fence or whatever like that. But there are these cliffs that people go to kind of like commit suicide because it, you know, there's rocks and stuff down there. It's just a big cliff. I forget what they called the place though. Okay, being from the city, we weren't aware of the notoriety of the drop, where the tall cliffs had become popular among those wishing to end their lives. By the time we realized, Gabe was too in love with the place to let it go. Now they live in this cliffside home, hours outside of Melbourne, and the drop is where people go to end their lives. But Gabe has had a lot of success saving people from taking their own lives. He's been in the paper and everything like that as well. And they've worked with the cops on like some tips and tricks of things that he could say and help people, and to make sure that they call the police right away, you know, and stuff like that. But at the start of the novel, Pippa sees someone out on the cliff. Gabe goes out there to talk them down, and they end up jumping. So we're only getting it from Pippa's POV, what she's seeing Gabe do out like their kitchen window. Okay, so she says, this is on page 7. It says, I look back through the window. Gabe is standing much closer to the woman than he usually would, closer to the edge too. This is against the rules, his own and the police's. The cliff is precarious enough for one person. Chunks of it fall into the ocean all the time, and on a day like this, the wind alone could force an unsuspecting person over the edge. Gabe has always been diligent about following the rules, despite his run towards the burning building mentality. I wonder if this is a sign of how it's going. If so, it's unlikely to be a good sign. And then one of their children interrupts her, and she takes her eyes off of the situation outside for a minute. And when she turns back to the window in the dark, it takes me a moment to locate them. When I do, I don't understand what I'm seeing. The space where the woman has been standing is now vacant. Gabe is alone at the cliff's edge now, his arms outstretched, palms facing the empty air. So like this, you know? And then she goes out there and's like, what happened? And he's, you know, saying like, she jumped. And then the police come, of course, and then they ask Pippa, you know, did you see anything? And she says, no, I didn't. But then she's like, oh my goodness, I lied to the police. Why did I do that? I'm a lawyer. I could lose my license. Like, what the heck? And she wants to talk to Gabe, and he ends up falling asleep. But then the most interesting thing happens at chapter 4. We get Amanda's perspective, and Amanda is the one that went over the cliff. And all I'm gonna tell you is it says after, of course, and it says, so this is it, I'm dead, blah 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 blah. And then it says, because unlike the scores of people who have come to this spot before me, I did not come here to die. So it's leading you to believe that Gabe did indeed push her over the edge, which is wild. So I am in it. I've never had a perspective from a dead person before in a book. So very interesting. Now we're back to Pippa's. This is a fairly quick, short read, but I am in it now because is that not wild? But this is Just Beat It tea from David's Tea, and it is so good. And the great thing about this tea is it's good both hot and cold. So if I don't drink it while it's steaming like it is right now, I don't even know if the camera is picking up the steam or not, but it is hot, that it will still be good afterwards, you know, when it gets a little chilly. So as you can see, I have a little companion sitting here reading with me, and I thought I would give you a quick reading update and tell you what else I've been doing today. I finished cleaning the back bedroom. I have one of the air mattresses set up. I have all of the other bedding washed and ready to go. I also cleaned this room out and did all of the dusting. Everything is in its place. Everything is absolutely clean and ready to go in this room, which makes me feel so good. A little bit later, I'm gonna move into the living room, which is out there, but this room is clean, and it's just been so nice having this couch in here, being able to sit by the windows because it is gray, overcast, raining, and cold today. So it's nice to be able to sit here by the windows and listen to the rain and read my book and just relax for a little bit. So I did make it about halfway. I'm on chapter 34, I believe. Yeah, 34. And there are two different POVs. We have Pippa and Amanda, and we have a past and present timeline, and things are just being revealed about Pippa and her husband, and about, you know, other people that are connected to the story as well. But it's very interesting, and I don't know. So Pippa obviously is questioning Gabe and his motives, and like more stuff comes out than we even knew initially. And she'll ask him a question, and he has a reasonable explanation of why something happened or why he said something. For example, as I told you in the beginning, she said that she noticed when she looked back through the window, she saw his hands out like this, like he pushed her. So she questioned him about it, and he said, yeah, when she jumped, I reached out to try to catch her, which would make sense why his hands would be out like that. So every time she's questioning him, he has a good answer. And it's like the more you learn about the situation, the more your mind starts reeling what actually happened. So I'm enjoying it, and I'm just going to continue reading. Great news, friends. I finished The Soulmate by Sally Hepworth, and I'm rating the story 4 out of 5 stars. I loved how twisty it was, and how like things just kept getting revealed, that it was like, did he or didn't he? What happened? And there were like new things revealed throughout the entire story. It wasn't just like one big plot twist. It was just kind of like layers to the story. Every chapter felt like you were learning something new and piecing the clues together to figure out what happened. I will say the little last few reveals were a little boring. I didn't care about them, and I also don't like how it ended. But this is only my second Sally Hepworth book. The first one I read was The Mother-in-Law, and I also rated it 4 stars. So it feels right to rate this one 4 stars as well, because I liked the characters and the point of view and even the side characters. And it was interesting how I feel like I still got other POVs, even though it was only Pippa and Amanda that I was actually getting like viewpoints from. So I wanted to like quote something for like from later on in the book, but it's not a spoiler to the story, but it says, "It's as if while living your life, you view the world through a straw. You only see the tiniest sliver, all of it from your own perspective. Other people have their motives, their backstories, their feelings, but you don't know that unless they share them with you. And even then, there's a chance they're lying." What strikes me most now is the audacity of people walking around with such certainty while armed with only the scantest information. I'm ashamed to say that I was one of those people. And it just shows you that life, when you run into people, you're only seeing things through your own straw. You're not able to see everybody else's unless you ask them, and then you don't even really know, because you're like hoping that they're telling you the truth. You hope that they're conveying the most authentic representation, but you never really know. So I just thought that was very interesting, and I really enjoyed the book. I would definitely recommend it. Okay, it is time to see what we're going to be reading next between Georgie All Along and Lunar Love. I did put a poll on Instagram. We're going to check it together and see what we're gonna read. All right, Georgie All Along has 57% of the vote, and Lunar Love has 43. So it looks like I'm gonna be picking up Georgie All Along, which is great. So we're gonna be reading this next, which is super fun. I'm gonna go ahead, pull that dust jacket off. Let's see how long this one is. Oh my goodness, look at the little bee. That's cute. And the dedication on this one says, "This one's for the quarantine." So very cool. It has big font. It has some discussion questions at the end. That's nice. Let's see what else. Acknowledgements. Okay, 331 pages, and the font is big. So I should definitely be able to finish this up probably tomorrow afternoon or something, depending on how much I get sidetracked with cleaning my house. So yay! All right, friends, I'm calling it for day 1 of Flowerathon. I have been reading Georgie All Along, and I made it to page 95, but it's 11 p.m. I'm getting tired. I want to unwind, but first I'll tell you my initial thoughts. So Georgie was an assistant to a film director in LA, and she loved that job because someone depended on her. She was always like had her phone, and she always had different tasks to do, and she was very successful at that job. Well, her boss decided to retire, and she said, now you can figure out what you want to do with your life. And so she's kind of like, what do I want to do with my life? So she goes back to her small hometown. Her parents are out of town. She's going to be staying at their house. Her best friend, Belle, is pregnant and is so grateful that Georgie's coming back to town to kind of help her with some things around the house before she has her baby. And she gets there and she stops at like this like gas station type place, small like corner store. I don't know. I can't really describe the store, but she orders some milkshakes. She doesn't have her card on her. This other guy pays for the milkshakes. And then later on she finds out like who it is, and they're actually both going to be staying at her parents' place because there was like a mix-up type thing. So I think it's going to be a romance between those two. And it's actually the older brother of her high school crush. But at the same time, when she was over her friend Belle's house, they found this like friendship fan fiction, like friendship fiction story that they wrote. And it was basically like all these things that they wanted to do. And now they're thinking that they're going to try to tackle all of those things. So. Happy day 2 of Flowerathon. I just woke up. I'm grabbing my book. I have my phone and my AirPods, and it's time to make some coffee, take my supplements, and start our day. Okay friends, I wanted to check in because I've read a few more chapters of Georgie All Along. This is a contemporary story about a woman named Georgie who is trying to just figure out her life. And I think it's a perfect book to read in spring because it's kind of like turning over a new leaf, you know, restarting, refreshing your life. And it's just a contemporary story, but there is some romance in there and stuff like that. So I am enjoying it, but I have been cleaning all morning, got the whole entire living room cleaned, got most of the kitchen clean. I still need to clean out the microwave, clean off our trash can, but I think I'm gonna go back to bed and just read for a little while and maybe take a little nap. And then when I wake up, I will be motivated to do those last 2 tasks. And I also need to mop the floor and stuff like that. But slowly but surely getting my house ready for company. The weather is gloomy and gray and overcast and drizzly, so that's also making me want to take a nap. But I think this will be the perfect book to curl up, read a few chapters, take a nap, and then hopefully wake up rejuvenated. It's been a long day, friends, a long day. But I just finished Georgie All Along. I'm gonna put the dust jacket back on, and I'm gonna read the story 3 out of 5 stars. It had some really cute moments, but I just feel like it was kind of slow, and like I said, it's more of a contemporary story, and I don't normally read contemporary stories that much anymore, just because, like, I don't know, there's just not, I mean, there were some deeper topics and themes, like finding yourself, being true to who you are, chasing your dreams, filling up space, fitting in, finding your people, all of that. But it just kind of, I don't know, it never fully gripped me. I didn't ever fully love the characters, and there was a really cute romance, but because I didn't really like love the characters, but I will say that each of them were kind of dealing with their own baggage, and I like how they worked on it together, but then they also worked on it separately. So I'm giving it 3 stars, like I said. I wanted more friendship vibes. I wanted the romance to be, I wanted to connect to the characters more. I really liked Georgie and her parents, but her parents weren't in there a ton, but they just seemed like the coolest parents ever. And I don't know, about like not fitting in a box and, you know, all of the things. So good read, a little bit slow paced. First time I read this author before, Kate Clayborn, but I think this is her 7th novel. I think that's what she said in the acknowledgments. Yes, is the 7th book for which I have written acknowledgments. So yeah, so she's written a lot of other stuff. Don't necessarily know if I would pick anything up unless it like really intrigued me, but I don't often, like I said, read strictly contemporary fiction anymore. Fresh out of the shower, we're getting ready to eat some dinner, but I did the poll and the London Seance Society won, which I'm so excited about. I do have the audiobook of this book from my library as well. I'm hoping I love this because it's historical, it's set in London, there's a seance, and then at the back of the book there are some recipes and stuff like that. Hello friends, it is the 3rd and final day of Flowerathon, and I did not start the London Seance Society last night. I started Survivor season 44. I am a huge Survivor fan, and I haven't watched it all this season. So I stayed up until 2 o'clock in the morning binging the first 6 episodes of Survivor. So I did not start my book, and it's Easter today, so we are headed to IHOP to pick up food, go to my mother-in-law's, eat, pay bills, fill medications, all of the fun things. And then I have to come back and clean the office and hopefully read some and then edit for the video tomorrow. So it's going to be a busy day. And I don't know how much I'm going to be able to actually vlog, but I'm going to try. friends, quick update on the London Seance Society by 𝒎𝒏𝒏𝒅. I made it to page 85 and it's okay. You know, it's not my typical sort of read. It's historical fiction set in the 1800s. You have there's like a seance society. So there's lots of like people in the society, but there's this one woman that is performing a seance for these parents. Their girl died or was murdered and they're trying to figure that out. And the spiritualist receives a letter summoning her to London about another matter. And her apprentice was with her during that seance, saw the letter, and she's going to be going with her to London to help the London Seance Society kind of investigate, you know, things. Yeah, that's really all that's happened. The writing is fine. I do like the atmosphere and the description. There's 2 POVs. We have, what are their names again? Let me check. Mr. Morley is the guy in London that summoned them. And then we have Lena, I think. Yeah, Lena. She's in Paris. So they're going from France to England. And she's working under the spiritualist to figure out how to do seances on her own, because the spiritualist that she's working under, I can't say the name, it's like a French name, but doesn't usually travel anywhere. And so she's like, well, I'll train you and then you can do the seance on your own to figure out what happened to your sister. It's fine. I hope it gets better when they get to London, but right now it's just fine. There's nothing wrong with it. I'm just reading it, and that's the update for now. Okay, guys, let's wrap up Flowerathon. I just finished the London Seance Society by 𝒎𝒏𝒏𝒅, and I hated it. I didn't like it at all. I didn't like the way the story was told. I didn't like the POVs that we got. I didn't like that it didn't have a lot of seances. It literally had one seance at the very end, and it didn't even feel like a seance. It wasn't as dark as I wanted it to be, and I don't know, there's just... It was a little bit atmospheric, but not really. It's more of a whodunit than really a Seance Society. I wouldn't say it's suspenseful or breathtaking or haunting or immersive. I have read so many better mysteries, and I just... Unfortunately, I did buy this beautiful, beautiful exclusive edition, and it does have fun recipes in the back, but like, I just think that I want to get rid of it. So anyway, I did manage to read 3 books for Flowerathon. I read The Soulmate by Sally Hepworth. It has flowers right down here on the bottom of the cliff. This was my favorite read of the Readathon, and I rated it 4 out of 5 stars. And then I picked up a contemporary story, Georgie All Along by Kate Claiborne, and I rated this story 3 out of 5 stars. I think if I'm going to read contemporary, I want it to be like a hard-hitting contemporary and this was not it. Overall it was okay, but it wasn't like anything to write home about. And then I read the London Seance Society, which honestly I wanted to DNF this every single page, but I was like, no, maybe it gets better in the end. But I actually do not think I will be going back to read The Lost Apothecary, because I really didn't like the writing style either. It was kind of very obvious like what was going on and who the villain was and all of that, but I don't know, the story wasn't very balanced, the pacing was off, I didn't really like the characters. I don't know, there was just, unfortunately there was nothing really redeeming about this. Am I glad I read it? I mean, I really don't care. I'm just glad it's over. So that wraps up Flowerathon. Thank you to Rachel for hosting. I had a great time. I would love to see this readathon again next year. Like every single year, girl, make it happen. But yeah, that's all from me. I'm sorry I don't have better thoughts on the London Seance Society, but I will see you guys again in another video very soon. I'm not sure what my next video will be, but I know I have a fun vlog coming soon because my friends are coming to visit me. So I'm going to do a vlog of while they're here and all the bookstores that we go to and all of the fun stuff that we do. But I'm also going to have some exclusive content over on my Patreon. So make sure you check that out down below. It's always linked in the description box. And yeah. So I hope you guys are having a lovely day or night whenever you're watching this video, and I'll see you guys again in another video very soon. Bye, friends.